I'm Shiv Arur. It is election season. This is a country which is constantly in election mode. Either we are in an election, or we're right before an election, or we're right between big elections. Right now, the Bihar election is only a few weeks away. And after what has been a very, very high engagement crusade and campaign on the streets of Bihar, Rahul Gandhi has shocked many, or maybe not shocked so many, by going off on his latest foreign vacation. But tonight I'm asking, is it really so abnormal anymore for persons to take downtime? The big political fight over Rahul Gandhi's latest foreign vacation is my lead story. But also what's happening in Nepal is something I'm going to be touching upon in a big way, because 19 students are dead in what is one of the biggest youth uprisings of Nepal. A social media ban and rampant corruption in the old in Kathmandu has led to incredible heart-stopping scenes in the streets of Kathmandu. That story. And finally, Trump's attack dog Peter Navarro has escalated once again, even as President Trump and Prime Minister Modi have tried to cool temperatures just a little bit. Peter Navarro is busy embarrassing himself on social media. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what to expect next. But to start, we've got some breaking news. "19 students and protesters are dead. 347 people are shockingly injured in the protests that have swept large parts of Nepal today. Of a youth uprising against the ban of social media apps like YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram and X. The Nepal government has issued its first official statement after a day of agitation and violence on the streets of Kathmandu and other major cities in Nepal. Nepal's Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak is likely to resign. He has offered to resign already. Very, very dramatic scenes in different parts of Kathmandu today. Lots of destruction and at least 19 people dead. Protesters and the opposition are demanding Nepal Prime Minister's resignation. The opposition is also calling for early elections. The party has condemned the brutal crackdown on protesters, largely comprised of youngsters from Gen Z. Sources say the Senate will be meeting. It's already currently meeting. That meeting is underway. The India-Nepal border has been put on high alert. The Nepal army has been deployed and curfew has been imposed in different parts of Nepal. Remember, a large Indian population lives and works in Nepal as well. So India is monitoring the situation extremely closely. The Nepal government has banned 26 social media platforms, including all of the big ones, leading to a huge clampdown on freedom of speech, leading to these disturbing scenes with 19 dead and over 340 people critically injured in this protest. We have a full report coming up in just a short while from now. But our lead story tonight is, it's that time of year and Rahul Gandhi is once again away from the country. This time reportedly in Langkawi, an idyllic island off the Malaysian coast. And the familiar political storm has begun even as Rahul Gandhi chills abroad. The BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress party's principal rivals, have pounced, accusing Rahul Gandhi of being an absentee politician who disappears when the Punjab floods are at their peak, an entitled dynast who needs luxury downtime after a few days of hard politics on the streets of Bihar, and an unserious leader of the opposition who seems to validate every charge that he's not built for the grind of public life. Now, the optics are hard to ignore after a high-energy event like the Vote Adhikar campaign in Bihar and the devastation of floods in Punjab, a state the Congress ruled handsomely, remember, for decades. Rahul Gandhi's sudden scooter rides along the Malaysian coast are an easy contrast for his rivals to weaponize. Rahul Gandhi's defenders push back, as they always have, arguing that Rahul refuses to subscribe to Narendra Modi's relentless 24/7 routine, that he represents a new political culture where leaders can take time off, live balanced lives, and show that politics doesn't have to be all-consuming. They argue that this is modern, even aspirational, and will appeal to a young electorate that doesn't want its leaders to burn out on the job. I personally find myself conflicted on this tonight. In principle, everyone, politicians included, or maybe politicians especially, deserve downtime. Indian politics could use a little humanity and maybe a slower clock. But Rahul Gandhi's own track record makes this just a little tricky. With 2 decades of being mocked as a reluctant politician, flexing the freedom to vacation abroad every time the heat builds up is a risky message to send out, especially in election season. Forget voters. What about the Congress rank and file? After pouring their energy into a campaign, what do they make of their generals slipping away to a resort island instead of leading the next charge? Rahul's inner circle likely believes these trips are a signal of defiance, a way to say he won't bend to the expectations set by a workaholic Prime Minister who, by the way, heads to flood-hit Punjab tomorrow. But in the process, he keeps supplying oxygen to the perception that he's not fully in the fight. If politics is about narrative, Rahul Gandhi remains the single biggest contributor to the narrative that has haunted him now doggedly for 20 years. That he is here on his own terms occasionally and between flights. And remember, this isn't the first time, and that's the reason why it has become a kind of political fixture in our annual calendar. Rahul's me time amidst a crisis have been happening for years together now, and they always make headlines. It's always predictable. In 2019, Rahul Gandhi took off to London. This was a trip amidst the 2019 general election. In October 2019, Rahul Gandhi was in Bangkok. This was a trip 15 days before the Haryana and Maharashtra elections. In 2020, the 136th foundation day of the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi was on a trip to Italy. In September 2021, senior Congress leader Captain Amarinder Singh had resigned. The Gandhi family was holidaying in Shimla. In December 2021, the Congress lost assembly polls in 5 states. Rahul Gandhi was on a personal visit to Italy. This was a setback to the Punjab polls, rallies, postponed till Rahul Gandhi actually returned to the country. In April 2022, the Congress party leadership was in absolute crisis. Remember that time? Rahul Gandhi once again was abroad. The party says it was on work, but we don't know. 2023, Rahul Gandhi's US visit, Rahul met co-founder Sunita Vishwanath, Islamist advocacy group. In 2025, the Punjab floods crisis, Prime Minister to visit Punjab. Rahul Gandhi is in Malaysia just a few days after what has been, and I will say this completely with total clarity, that the Vote Adhikar campaign was a high engagement, high visibility campaign where the momentum should have been kept up, but then Rahul Gandhi chose to interrupt it reportedly with this trip to Langkawi. So what goes on in Rahul Gandhi's mind that he feels the need for this kind of downtime? And it's always something that makes its way into the headlines, offering fuel to those who say, we told you he's an unserious politician. We told you he doesn't have it in him to remain committed to public life. We told you he cannot sacrifice, a few holidays for a few years in order to get his armies really moving and actually win an election. But like I said, this is a debate with 2 sides to it. On the one side, there is an entire army that says, well, this is the new world. This is how politicians in the rest of the world live. Everyone has downtime. Everyone has a private life, and they are not judged on that basis. They are only judged by their work. But the others will say, well, look at Rahul Gandhi's work. He has led the Congress to its most abysmal low in history. He has lost tens of elections over the decades. He has led the Congress to a historic situation where it is simply unable to fight for itself, and it remains a party that is in tatters at this point of time, some would say. So how can the two actually be reconciled? Let's go across now to talk about this for a second, because Rahul Gandhi isn't just a leader of the Congress, isn't just a member of parliament. He's also leader of the opposition and therefore represents a larger front against the government at a time when questions should undoubtedly be asked. Anand Ranganathan, scientist and author and commentator. Sanjay Jha, political analyst and lapsed congressman. Priyanka Kakkar is spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Remember, both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party separately have been taking pot shots at Rahul Gandhi over this particular vacation. Anand, you've heard my opening words. What would you say about this latest trip by Rahul Gandhi? It comes after, what was a high-octane, motorcycle campaign across Bihar. Like it or not like it, the fact is people were talking about it. It did have some resonance. And then off Rahul goes to Langkawi.
Good evening, Shiv, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Perhaps if I can begin by slightly correcting you, I don't think Sanjay is a lapsed congressman. I think he's a suspended congressman. He still believes that he is a congressman, even though the Congress party, I hope, resurrects Sanjay because he's an asset to them. Couple of points out here. Number one, I don't think Rahul Gandhi's body needs rest. It is the brain. What do I mean by that? I have absolutely no, opposition to any politician taking as many vacations as he or she wants, because I firmly believe that the purpose of a politician is to gauge what the public wants and then to formulate a policy and implement that policy. What do I mean by that? For example, you can have a politician drive a tractor or a plow a field as much as he or she wants, and then the optics would be fantastic. Look, he's working hard, he's not vacationing. But the fact of the matter is, our policies, agricultural policies, are so against this sector and farmers. No matter how many tractors you drive, the farmers are still going to remain poor because the farm laws have not been implemented. So the very people who promised those farm laws, Rahul Gandhi being one in the Congress 2019 election manifesto, to have do away with APMCs, to do away with to the Essential Commodities Act emergency provision, and to have contract farming, all three were promised by him. And it's irrelevant to me whether he was plowing fields or driving tractors. But the fact is, the moment they were implemented by Modi, he took a U-turn. So what matters is the policies you formulate. For example, out here now you can have an optics of a politician, as you had Mr. Shivraj Chauhan, touring the flood-affected areas. You have many politicians doing that. And Rahul Gandhi is getting brickbats because he's not doing it. For me, it's irrelevant because the floods have been caused by non-implementation of river linking, of not having proper dams. So the politicians are at fault not by not touring the areas or not spending time amongst people. The politicians are at fault, according to me, by having terrible policies or taking a U-turn on the policies that they promise for the people.
Yeah.
And to give Rahul the benefit of the doubt, I think he's worked hard. I mean, in the Bharat Jodo Yatra and the Bihar Yatra, so he can tour as much as he wants. Unfortunately, his policies are so anti-people, anti-India, that it doesn't matter. The optics will always be like that.
Sanjay, the optics are bad because there is nothing to support it. Anand argues that if the policies were strong, if the track record was strong, if there was consistency as far as political action was concerned, then he could have taken any vacation he wanted. But amidst a lack of that, these vacations are just 100% ammunition to the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. And that's why they've been attacking him again. Sanjay.
Hi, good evening, Shiv, and to both the AAP representative and my friend Anand. Let me put all this speculation on my relationship with the Congress to rest by giving you a very forthright statement on where it is. Congress and I are married. We just live in two separate bedrooms, which I believe is even good for intimacy. So I think I would like to kind of scotch all rumors to the contrary right here. But in all seriousness, let's get down to your question. I think Rahul's entire Vote Adhikar campaign, I believe, is a turning point in Indian politics. Ever since he did that press conference in Bengaluru, and he's done it with data, he's put out scientific facts, he's challenged the election commission, and I think that's caught the imagination of the people, not just in Bihar.
But then why give the BJP this full toss then, Sanjay? Why give the BJP this full toss?
Yeah, so let me answer you. You see, the Bharatiya Janata Party is a kind of a party. Listen, I've been in debates with them for years now. You don't have to give them a reason. If you don't give them a reason, they'll manufacture one. So I wouldn't wait my time worrying about what the BJP says. I'll pose it a little differently. I mean, I remember Mr. Modi as the Prime Minister of this country returned from, I think, Saudi Arabia after the horrific Pahalgam terror attack happened. And then he was campaigning in Bihar. To my mind, that is duplicitous. That is immoral. That is unethical for any politician. Forget, he's the Prime Minister of the country. Rahul is not duplicitous at all. And I think, as somebody who's been in both the corporate and the political side, I can tell you one thing, Shiv. Take it from me. Jack Ma and Narayan Murthy, with due respects to them, they have become the most popular memes of our time by talking about this whole burnout as the only way to succeed. Now, Narendra Modi, I don't know, people say he works 25 hours a day. Good luck to him. No problem. Each one of us is unique and, we all have our own way of functioning. I'll give you my own example. I mean, one of the reasons why I would never, no matter how, if I were to become X position in politics tomorrow, I will still find time to do the things that are important to me because they help me become better at my work. They help me become better at my work.
Obviously, what you're saying is very sensible, but
Yeah.
what is also unique is a string of electoral defeats. It's a question of stopping and starting. It's a question of consistency. It's a question of momentum. If it was a string of victories behind him, sure, something like this could be justified because this is not just a matter of principle. It's also a matter of perception. It's also a matter of keeping the rank and file energized and keeping the momentum up. Priyanka, your party,
Shiv,
the
can
Aam
I
Aadmi Party,
answer
some
that?
leaders. Yes, I'll come back to you, Sanjay. Some
Okay,
leaders
all
have
right.
also attacked Rahul Gandhi and said, the Punjab floods are taking place. Rahul Gandhi is not here. He's vacationing abroad. Why did you say that? Why can't he get the time off?
Well, right now, Shiv, the entire North India is grappling with unprecedented floods, and he is the Neta Pratipaksh. He is the biggest face of Congress. He is ruling. They are the ruling government in Himachal. They are the opposition in Punjab, and yet he is missing. Same is the case for the Pradhan Mantri Modi. Although you mentioned that he is coming to Punjab tomorrow, that will perhaps again be an aerial view, like Shivraj Chauhan ji came. It was an aerial view. There was no support. They have time to send support to Afghanistan but not to Punjab. And because Rahul Gandhi has no time for Punjab, I don't want to waste another breath on Rahul Gandhi on this show. I want to apprise your viewers what is happening currently in Punjab. 3 lakh acres of farmland with the paddy fields are currently submerged in water. They were all ready for
but
harvest.
Priyanka, we are
This
talking
is the
about
kind of
Rahul Gandhi
devastation
today.
that
The
Punjab
debate is
and
about
Punjabis
Rahul
are
Gandhi.
facing.
The other details we already have covered on our channel.
I know, but I agree, Shiv. I will come to Rahul Gandhi. I am mentioning this because I want when Pradhan Mantri Modi comes tomorrow, he doesn't just come for optics and aerial view of the flood devastation. I
No,
want
we'll
him
be
to
asking
come
those
with the
questions.
60,000 crore
All
that
the
he
data
owes
that
to
you're
Punjab.
providing will be
because
asked.
currently, sure, I definitely, please ensure that you come back to me on what the Aam Aadmi Party government has done for Punjab without any assistance from the centre, and what is expected from the centre when they come
But
tomorrow.
does this have a? Does this? I understand what you're saying. You are making a larger point, but my point is limited, and this is not a frivolous debate by any stretch. Let's be very clear. Rahul Gandhi is leader of the opposition. He is leader. He is the de facto leader of the second largest party in the country. He is seen as the leader of the India bloc as well. Anand, this is not a joke. This is not a frivolous debate. The fact is, Rahul Gandhi being away radiates a message to the larger India bloc about whether he is really serious about leading the charge. Sure, we are far away from the next general election, but there are many important elections to lead into in 2026 as well.
Couple of things out here, Shiv. First of all, what Sanjay said about the Bihar campaign that was led by Rahul Gandhi. I agree. It was a tireless campaign and good luck to Rahul. But the fact of the matter is that the entire campaign in Bihar was kick-started by his press conference in Bengaluru.
Yeah.
And the whole charge was against the Election Commission. Each one of those charges turned out to be wrong, lies, and frivolous. Each one of those. That's why I say, I don't mind Rahul vacationing. But the fact is, what is it that he's saying? If that is a pack of lies, it doesn't matter whether he stays for optics or goes to a vacation and the optics are bad. It doesn't matter to me. Likewise, I asked Priyanka, now, she is being sarcastic or taunting people who are doing aerial surveys. I agree with her. But then I ask her, yes, there is no point doing aerial surveys. There's no point doing surveys if you know the reality on the ground. And the reality on the ground is that, yes, of course, a large proportion of blame for the Punjab floods is, of course, caused by atypical monsoon and glacier melting. But the fact of the matter is there is acute mismanagement of reservoirs. There is acute mismanagement of dam closing and opening. So, Priyanka ji, the fact remains that, let me just finish. And, please, I didn't interrupt you. The fact remains that politicians from AAP or from other party can go around, knee deep in water, and that optics and that videos, clips would go viral. But the fact is they are to blame because they mismanaged it in the first place. I personally, left to me, I'd much rather they be vacationing and there are no floods in Punjab.
Priyanka, quick answer. I'll end with Anand then. Quick answer.
Yes. See, Anandji is able to name Aam Aadmi Party, but he is not able to name other politicians, and we know why. And he should, since he is very learned, you should ask him who manages the dams, and he should also see how much water was this time, coupled with heavy monsoons, of course, how much water was released from the dams and why did that happen? Maybe perhaps he should answer that too. Coming to Rahul Gandhi, I think he should now understand that, there is a government, BJP is a government which is 24/7 about optics, about elections, about they have, we know that they have police under their control, they have ECI under their control, they have ED, CBI under their control. You're fighting such a machinery. You cannot be absent at such a important time when entire North India is grappling under such massive floods. And I would want you to please go back to Anand ji and ask him, वो दूसरी पार्टी का नाम लेने से इतना घबरा क्यों रहे हैं? Since he mentioned
Anand has no problem with that.
He should also mention the mismanagement of who manages the dams.
But Anand has no problem with that. Anand, do you have a problem with naming parties?
Who manages the dams, Anand ji, in this country?
Now, 1 second. Now, this is the problem, victimhood. I did not blame any AAP. It was politicians across the board. In fact, I began with saying Priyanka ji is talking about aerial surveys and the Prime Minister doing it, and fair enough, she's right. I think there was some audio problem. She could not hear what I was saying, and hence her victimhood.
Sanjay, I'll end with you. I'm almost out of time. Sanjay, I'll end with you. But
there is no victimhood. I am
this
demanding
discussion
the
has gone
60,000 that
into
is
what's
owed
going
to
to
the
happen
state.
during the aerial survey tomorrow. But it started with Rahul Gandhi. It's a big party. There is a big fight and a big season ahead. You've been someone who has talked tough to the leadership in the Congress party, and you actually kind of paid a price for that as well. I'm asking very candidly, do these breaks, does this downtime, which I personally would like to see normalized just as you do, does it really enthuse the rank and file? Do they see it as an act of defiance, or does it, kill momentum and kind of kill morale?
Shiv, let me tell you, I think Rahul Gandhi is being very transparent, and that's the way to be. AAP's allegations are pathetic, puerile, pedestrian, and preposterous. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because at the end of the day, Shiv, it's not about the fact that whether you are there 24/7 or 23/7. It's about your intent. It's about your commitment. It's about your passion. It's not about some performative display of political commitment. It's about what you genuinely do. So I'll give you an example. I rather have a politician who takes a break, because work-life balance, by the way, in my opinion, applies more to politicians than the corporate world, because my experience of politics is they work 24/7 anyways. I mean, it's an abnormal life if you're not going to take a break to rejuvenate yourself. And I'd rather have a man who takes an occasional break but fights for the people of India, as opposed to somebody who may be a hate monger or, a corrupt man. And Aam Aadmi Party should recognize, don't be so individual-centric. Run as a political party. There are faces in Punjab. There are people within the Congress who are not just Rahul Gandhi. There is a Mr. Kharge, etc. Respect them, for heaven's sake.
The only look, we always have these debates. We talk about perception, we talk about narrative. Ultimately, the barometer is going to be the Bihar election that comes up, the elections that come up. It's important to note that Rahul Gandhi has been questioning the very barometer itself through his Vote Adhikari campaign. But in the middle of that, he goes off on a vacation. What message does that send? I will still say, in principle, I completely support downtime. Time for yourself, optics. I stand with Anand on that view as well. It should happen. But when the house is burning, is it really a time to flex the freedom for a vacation? I wonder what the answer to that is. Thanks very much, Sanjay, Priyanka, and Anand for being with me. We've got some breaking news coming in right now. Okay, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will be representing India at the BRICS summit. This is India's message at the BRICS virtual summit that's just come out. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, on behalf of India, has called for resilient supply chains and United Nations reforms. India's message is that BRICS should work towards stabilizing the international economy, address the impact of ongoing conflicts on the global south, and proactively support reforming multilateralism. That's the big breaking story that we have right now on the BRICS summit being addressed virtually by Dr. S. Jaishankar. Listen in.
The world today also seeks an urgent resolution of ongoing conflicts. The global south has experienced a deterioration in its food, energy, and fertilizer security. Where shipping is targeted, not just trade, but livelihoods also suffer. A selective protection cannot be a global answer. An early end to the hostilities and undertaking diplomacy to ensure a durable solution is the obvious pathway before us. The working of international organizations in the last few years has witnessed major shortfalls in many areas. On key issues, we have unfortunately seen that gridlocks have undermined the search for common ground. These experiences have only made the case for reformed multilateralism generally, and that of the United Nations and its Security Council specifically, more urgent. The BRICS have taken a positive view of this need for reform, and we expect that it would collectively become a strong voice for much awaited change. Excellencies, even as the world grapples with policy changes, we must not lose sight of bigger concerns, especially climate change. Sadly, both climate action and climate justice are currently slipping in global priorities. We need new thinking and initiatives as well. I commend the International Solar Alliance, the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, and the Global Biofuels Alliance for your consideration.
And now I'm taking you across to Mandya, a city just south of Bengaluru in Karnataka, where proof has once again come before us of how easy it is in this country for communal violence to flare up. This was on the occasion of the Ganpati Visarjan yesterday, where violence broke out in the city of Mandya during the Visarjan. Prohibitory orders are currently in place in the city, disturbing scenes after stones were allegedly pelted at the Visarjan procession. The BJP is on the offensive. The BJP is the opposition party in Karnataka, remember, has called for a bandh in the city of Madur tomorrow. BJP says this is an anti-Hindu government that has emboldened communal miscreants to be able to throw stones at a Ganesh Visarjan procession. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah of the Congress party has defended and said action against all miscreants as per the law, and there is nothing communal as far as administrative action is concerned. The protesters and the police have been facing off, leading to prohibitory orders. The situation currently, thankfully, is under control, but the BJP says the state is under Mughal-like rule. These are images from Mandya that NDTV's Deepak Bopanna got us earlier today. Okay, let's go across to our guests on the big story from Mandya tonight, because even though it was a small contained flare-up in communal tension following stone pelting, it has become a larger political story. Surabhi Hodigere of the BJP is with me. T.R. Prasad Gowda of the Congress in Karnataka is with me. Welcome to you both. Surabhi, the BJP has said this is an example of the Mughal-like state under Siddaramaiah in Karnataka. Why do you say so? Because we've been reporting on it from Mandya. This was an isolated case. The BJP says it is not isolated. Tell us why you think so.
Shiv, how can it be isolated if the same pattern that happened exactly last year across the state is happening again this year? In Nagamangala, we saw a flare-up that was immense, that we saw, factories being burned, retail outlets being burned. We saw people on the streets. And this is voices coming from the ground, women who are coming out and saying that we are scared to go to certain areas, we're afraid to for loud music to be playing in certain times. This is a pattern that we are seeing and unfortunately talking less about. How is this an isolated incident, and why would an isolated incident bring out the sort of people on the streets that we are seeing right on your screens today? By the way, we must we also register very strong disapproval on the fact that the lathi charge is being held against the people who are protesting. What is this pattern that we are seeing? For Ganesh Visarjan, you want to put restrictions, you want timelines for it, but no, Ganesh Visarjan cannot happen peacefully. It can only happen with stone pelting with people coming from other districts. How can, I mean, in all of this, how can something like this happen randomly, without any planning, without any state support? How can it possibly happen that way?
Okay,
Who are these people coming from different districts?
Mr. Gowda, the
Who
BJP
are these
says
people
this is
taken
not.
law so easily?
Mr. Gowda, the BJP says this is not random violence, this is not isolated, it's happening with state support, and that the Congress needs to answer for it because this is selective application of the law. Nothing has been done against these miscreants. What would you say to Surbhi of the BJP?
Mr. Shiv Arun, this last time also it has happened. This is also, see, this is the thing which is done by some miscreants over there, and I can say just to grab the attention, the miscreants are all infiltrating by BJP itself. They wanted to grab the attention of the state and the country, and showing that it's happening like this. And definitely we are doing the investigation over all these miscreants, from where they have come. And of course, we are trying to maintain. We have maintained the communal harmony, everything. But the BJP, this is what has happened. It is at the instance of BJP only. BJP wanted to, disturb the peace and communal harmony across the region, and they wanted to grab the attention, saying that
Okay, Surbhi, the Congress says these are BJP miscreants. These are BJP miscreants, infiltrated and planted there in order to defame the Siddaramaiah government.
I mean, it's the argument in itself is ridiculous, sir. My apologies. Nobody in Karnataka will even believe that for 1 second, because it is your government just a few days ago that let go of 60 criminal cases, including the one against stone pelters in Chittapur. It is your government that has ensured that, people who were not given the right punishment with DJLE, KJLE case, when your own MLA was trapped inside. It is your government that has called people who are terrorists as brothers. It is your government that has been soft on a particular community. Do not tell me that this is something that the BJP, what wild conspiracy theory is this? And the fact that this is happening again and again and again. In Nagamangala, when this incident happened, it was Dr. Parameshwar who came out and said, this is just a small, misunderstanding, small thing. Businesses was burned down. How can you say this? And today it's happening across Shimoga. It's happening in Shimoga. It's happening in Hubli, in Dharwad. To celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi, we have to be afraid. This is the law and order that you have brought through. This is the law and order that Karnataka government.
Mr. Gowda, the Home Minister of Karnataka has called it a small incident.
It is a BJP conspiracy. We don't need to cook up issues, sir. You are giving us issues on a platter every single day.
They wanted to take, Mr. Shiv, wanted to take the political mileage. They know they can draw the attention of the people. They know they can draw the attention of state and the country by doing so, because they are known for it, to disturb the communal harmony. Then only we can try to build up a party in that region. That it has already is under the investigation, and it will come to know in a few days.
But sir, the incidents have happened repeatedly. That is also true, that this is not the first time something like this has happened. Is it so easy to stir up communal disharmony? The BJP says it is because of the appeasement policies of the Siddaramaiah government. That's the reason why miscreants are emboldened.
We are not appeasing anybody. For our government, everybody is equal. And we are working on the principle that nobody is big, nobody is small. Everybody is equal in the eyes of law, and whether he belongs to any community for that matter, We do not want anybody to put in the high level
Okay.
or in the low level also. And we have maintained the peace and the law and order, everything there. But whatever, I will stand by my my statement that this is the BJP. At the instance of BJP,
Okay.
these things are happening.
Surbi, last word, last rebut to you. Yeah.
I will send a defamation notice if somebody keeps saying that this is because of the BJP. I want to show you a picture from last year.
Welcome.
This is Ganesha behind bars in a police van. This is the state that you're running. Shiv, my blood is boiling. I literally have tears in my eyes thinking that in my state, we cannot do Ganesh Chaturthi without being afraid of stone pelting. Go through Mandya, Mysore, go through all of these areas. Women are telling us that we are not feeling safe to practice our religion. And the Congress has the guts to say this is a BJP conspiracy. They have zero. They say everybody is equal. For them, it has always been everybody is equal, but some people are more equal than the others. If you have the guts, Mr. Gowda, sir, today, say this, that no, there will be no such stone pelting. Communities that are doing stone pelting will be punished. There should be no disturbance of religious activities. You will not say that. Instead, you will call certain communities your brothers and ensure that Hindus are put under the bus. Shiv, I'm angry today because why would people come out in hordes and hordes? Why would they come out, risk getting lathi charged? These people being lathi charged as not the stone pelters. And this is happening repeatedly. Nagamangala was on fire while celebrating a festival, and the Congress is shutting their eyes, shutting their ears, everything. They don't want to see the truth. This kind of demographic incidents that are happening in Karnataka, I am calling out to the national media and saying that this is becoming a scarier and scarier reality in the hinterlands of Karnataka every single day. This is a warning to the rest of the country.
NDTV's team is on the ground in Mandya. The prohibitory orders are in place. We don't think anything more will happen tonight because there is a huge amount of security right now. But Surabhi is right. There has been a lot of violence that has taken place and protests and clashes as well. We'll keep a very close watch on this. There is a Bandh call in Madur tomorrow. How is that going to go? NDTV will be on the ground tracking that. Surabhi and T.R. Prasad Gowda, thank you very much for being with me here on India Matters. And coming up next, the big global story from our neighbor in Nepal. 19 students have been killed in angry protests over the country's ban of social media apps, as well as alleged corruption of the ruling Oli government. Just picture that. A huge Yuva uprising in Nepal over YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and more being banned.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
जब मुंबई से वापस कोल्हापुर शिफ्ट हुआ तो सबने कहा कि ड्रीम सिटी को छोड़ रहा है। ड्रीम सिटी, तो मैंने कहा ड्रीम में तो यही गलियां आती हैं। तो जब ये रियलाइज़ हुआ कि कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए बड़े शहर में रहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, तब लगा कि लाइफ में ग्रो किया। कशिता आई, ऐसे बॉय मिलते मुंबई में, चांस ही नहीं।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो। प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
Finisher windows, beautiful and durable designs. Installation
Nepal's Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak has tendered his resignation during the huge violence and protests that have taken place in different parts of Nepal today, killing at least 19 students, and that death toll is likely to go up. The huge uprising by young protesters, mostly students and Gen Z students, against corruption in the government, as well as the huge ban on 26 social media apps, including WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X, has led to scenes like these across the streets of Nepal and outside the country's parliament as well. The Oli cabinet has decided to form a committee to investigate today's incident. 40 protesters have been arrested, more than 350 are injured, and 19 young student protesters have been killed in the violence that swept the capital of Nepal and all of its major cities. I want to go across now to Rajneesh Bhandari. He's a senior journalist in Nepal. Also joining me is Pushkar Bikram Shahi. He's a member of the National Students' Union, and he was in the protest today. Pushkar, I want to quickly come to you first. You have been in the protest today that we've seen, and pictures that have gone to different parts of the world. What are you, as a student, demanding from the government of Nepal? The Home Minister of the country has tendered his resignation right now. 19 of your fellow students have been killed in today's protests. What would you like to say today, Pushkar?
Thank you, sir. It was a moment just for the anti-corruption, but due to some guspetias in our movement, the movement was taken very cruelty. Many casualties were there, but the main objective, main motto for this movement was the anti-corruption of the government.
Okay, Rajneesh, things are looking quite bad. That death toll has already hit 19. It could go up. I'm presuming that the number must be higher than that if this is the official figure right now. What are you hearing? A lot of political tension. The Home Minister has offered to resign as well. Rajneesh, what's the latest?
Shiv, I'm currently at ground zero at the moment. It's 8:53 the local time. And you could see, how bad this news, police and also ambulances moving here and there. I'm just in front of one of the hospitals at ground zero at the moment. There are 3 dead bodies inside the hospital. That's the doctor told me. I talked to the doctor, and he told me that the cases were quite serious, and the people, they were brought inside the hospital, especially the injured. This is like deep injuries. It's not small injuries. The doctor told me that, it's deep injuries. And it's not only just the case with this hospital. There's another hospital, across the street. It's called the civil hospital. There are more casualties out there, more injured people. There's another hospital, the trauma center. There are more casualties and more injured people out there as well. So this seems to be a quite tragic day in Nepal's political history, where 19 youths, especially students, lost their life demanding an end to corruption in the country, and also requesting for freedom and rights for people. Shift. So this seems to be a tragic day in Nepal's history.
I'm just curious. How are people communicating with each other right now in Nepal? How are students communicating with each other with all these social media apps banned?
That's a great question, Shiv. As you know, 26 social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, are banned. But there are few that are being operating right now, just like the Viber is operating. So people are using Viber. People are also using TikTok, which is also is also operating in Nepal. So TikTok is another platform, and some people are using VPN as well. So they're using VPN to communicate. It's not an easy task, easy job. So many people, large majority of Nepalese are addicted, or they're using Facebook, especially the Reels and other things out there. But which is, they have been affected with the social media ban. But the JNG, this evening, and they said that their protest was primarily for corruption. Definitely the issue of there, but primarily it was related to to end the corruption.
Yeah.
And about the cabinet meeting that happened, in the cabinet meeting, the Home Minister, he resigned, today has not been an easy day for everyone, for protesters, for the security persons, and for politically as well. A lot of meetings and interactions ongoing, and protesters and leaders were asking for the resignation of the Home Minister. In the evening, he submitted his resignation.
पुष्कर, आप क्या चाहते हो? आप कल भी आप प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे काठमांडू में? कल भी प्रोटेस्ट होगा इतना बड़ा? Okay, that's a very that's a bad line, I'm guessing, because of the because of
अभी आगे माहौल में चाहते हैं इस तरह से हमने आंदोलन के लिए
I apologize to our viewers profusely for that very bad quality audio. I understand that this might be because there's a crackdown on the internet in Nepal. To have been able to even been able to get Rajneesh and Pushkar live for those few minutes, because that's how precarious the situation actually is in Nepal. These images have been going viral all across the world. Corruption, the ban on social media apps continues to consume that country, and it isn't a small story. 19 people are dead. We offer our condolences to all of those families and hope for peace in Nepal. NDTV's crew will be on the ground first thing tomorrow, where we will be reporting and telling you how things actually go. And we're starting with some breaking news once again now, with the next big escalation in the India-US crossfire over tariffs. Trump's top trade aide and advisor on tariffs, Pete Navarro, has just fired another shot. He has called it blood money. Blood money, the money that India pays to Russia for oil purchases. Pete Navarro has called it blood money, continuing his narrative and rant, accusing India of weaponizing Russia for the Ukraine war. This is Pete Navarro once again, just 2 days after Modi and Trump appeared to cool things down and ease off tensions between the two countries in what has been a very injurious one-sided crossfire between the United States and India. Well, Peter Navarro has just jumped into the fire once again to say it is blood money that India is paying for the purchase of Russian oil and funding the Russian war machine in Ukraine. Peter Navarro, President Trump's chief trade advisor and chief attack dog in the tariff offensive on India, is having a full-blown implosion on the internet. After his latest anti-India tweets were community fact-checked by users, the man who has made his current career out of venom and vitriol has been forced into an uncharacteristic public tantrum. You just heard him talk about blood money, but here's things going even worse for him. He's even taken aim at Elon Musk, the owner of X or Twitter, a man who famously called Navarro a moron not long ago. For those who have watched Team Trump's relentless attacks on India with growing anger, this was a moment of schadenfreude, a cathartic spectacle of a man being cut to size by the simple force of facts on social media. But to spend too much time enjoying Navarro's humiliation is to miss the bigger picture. Sure, Navarro's an important man, but he isn't the top dog. Because even as Navarro rages online, Donald Trump broke his own cycle of hostility with unusually warm words for Prime Minister Modi on Friday, triggering a swift, equally warm acknowledgement from the Prime Minister on Saturday. Now, for the first time in weeks, there was a 48-hour lull in what has otherwise been a one-sided barrage of hostilities. The question now is whether this was just a temporary cool-off or the first sign of a deliberate reset. Was this Trump recalibrating his playbook after realizing his tariff tantrums weren't forcing New Delhi to heal? Or is this simply the quiet before a much bigger storm? It is tempting to dismiss Trump as unpredictable, erratic, and temperamental. The truth is that there is a method to what looks like madness. I call it strategic schizophrenia. India must not confuse a few sweet words with any lasting effect. They are at best a pause, at worst an attempt to lull India to a false sense of comfort if the next blow actually lands. Because remember, the ultimate goal is a trade deal that Trump wants to be in his favor. And that next blow could be far more painful. From a fresh onslaught on H-1B visas to televised crackdowns on undocumented chains to yet the tariff shock. India must be prepared for all eventualities and recognize that the old equilibrium with Washington is now far from us. The relationship is being rewritten in real time, and perhaps nothing will ever be the same again. Sushant Sareen, strategic affairs expert, international relations commentator, is with me live. Sushant, welcome. Thank you for your time here on India Matters. It's tempting to dwell just on Peter Navarro, but I'm not going to ask you about him because, that's become the face of the operation, as it were, because he's the one doing most of the talking. Just before I came to this, he had a say where he called it blood money that India is paying. It's become a very predictable kind of meltdown and spectacle. You've seen it, Sushant. The real question is, it's been 2 days since that, moment of temporary sort of bromance, familiar bromance between Modi and Trump. Nobody is really lulled by it. The question is, what happens now? What is happening in the background? Are the two sides talking a little bit more now that the two leaders have for the first time said some kind words to each other? What do you think?
So, Shiv, on Navarro, quite clearly it's pointless talking about him because when somebody combines utter ignorance with a lot of arrogance, then you can't really argue or, have a sensible conversation with a man. Somebody who claims that he's an economics wizard and says that tariffs are tax cuts, then I think that's the end of the argument. You can't argue with that guy anymore. And I think it speaks volumes for Elon Musk's brilliance that he calls Navarro a moron. I don't think there's anything else to be said for this guy. But on the more substantive issue, look, if indeed there has been a kind of a rethinking in
Okay, we've lost that link with Sushant Sareen as well. We'll try and re-establish that link. But Navarro is the face of what has been a steady deterioration in ties. On Saturday, Prime Minister Modi... Okay, Sushant, we lost you for a moment. Go on, continue.
Yeah, no, I was saying that if Trump has thought that he's going to reset, then some of his cronies haven't got the memo as yet, right? Which is why you see his economic advisor talk about ramping up some kind of sanctions, taking stronger measures. Scott Bessent hasn't backed off, and you have Navarro shooting his mouth off. So there is that question which comes into play. But I think there is also a lot of people in the United States system who are probably thinking of how to find a way to back down from the high horse they had climbed. Now, clearly, there are going to be issues on how they're going to be able to do it so that India can proclaim victory and so can Trump say that, he has gotten what he wanted from India. It's not going to be easy, and perhaps it's not going to happen in a matter of days. It might take a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months before something comes out of it. And then whatever was already on the table, they sign on it, but they pretend that something new has come on the table, which makes it more palatable. Now, that is the best case scenario.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario, again, I don't think we should discount that. And frankly, H-1B visas is a non-issue as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't really affect us that badly. It affects a few individuals, but doesn't affect India so badly. It affects the Americans much worse if they have to get the talent from within their country. And quite clearly, as we've seen in the South Korean case, all those workers who were arrested and chained, and that hasn't gone down well in South Korea.
Yeah.
And the reason those guys were brought in is, which Trump himself admits, that if you don't have the expertise, you get it from outside, which is what happened. And when all these MAGA madcaps claim that, there are skilled workers in America, they might be skilled in maybe carpentry or something like that, but they're not skilled in the technology of batteries or building up a factory. So H1B is not my issue. But yes, if they raise the tariffs further and they extend tariffs to goods which are currently exempt, then there will be a lot more pain to India. And of course, that trade will stop. That is going to affect the American companies very badly, because for them to suddenly shift out of India is not going to be that easy, whether it's in the services sector or it is in the manufacturing sector. So that will have certain consequences even in the US.
Yeah.
Already we are seeing in the US certain pressures coming in as far as some of the big companies are concerned, which were, whose supply chains were located outside the US. And, they used to bring in goods and then manufacture in the US and take it forward, which is what the whole model of globalization was. That, you manufacture in various parts of the world and then you bring it all together in one place and you give the final product.
Yeah.
Clearly, that is going to start suffering, and many American companies are going to suffer, and American consumers will have to pay higher prices, regardless of what people like Scott Bessent and, Lutnick and this crazy guy Navarro say. So, we'll have to see how this works out. And then finally, will there be a pushback from American allies?
Yeah.
We've seen political instability in Japan. We've seen the South Korea erupt in anger.
Correct.
We've seen a lot of disquiet in Europe over how the European Union leadership has simply caved in without, even pretending to fight. And those pressures are going to start manifesting themselves as you go forward. So it's not as though this is a very easy thing. It's a done deal.
Yeah,
and
true.
Mouths in the Trump cabinet who then say that, look, such and such country will come and give us $500 billion that we can spend the way we want to do.
Yeah.
I frankly, it makes you wonder what kind of people are running America today. It raises serious questions about the education system in America. These fancy universities like.
We just have to, perhaps, like you said, we'll have to see what's coming. We'll have to wait to see what it is. It's been 48 hours, which is unusual. For nothing else to come out. We've had Lutnick say stuff. I was thinking it's going to be a full 48 hours, and just before we began this broadcast, we had blood money coming in from Navarro. So at least there's that. But thanks very much for that comprehensive overview, Sushant. I did have another question, but we're out of time. But this conversation obviously is going to carry on, because until a deal is done between India and the United States, it ain't over. That's all I can say. Thanks for watching India Matters. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Padmaja comes up with the buck stops here right after this.
गोल्ड क्लास ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
Fenesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Fine, finer Fenesta.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried